Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Help Talk. First of all, let me thank the Help people for giving me another opportunity to talk on one medical subject which is very dear to my heart, that is polio eradication. I have been working for the polio eradication program through Rotary from 1996. That time I was the president of that club when the NID was started, National Immunization Days was started. And I was taken to it, and I thought it is the best opportunity to work for polio eradication. Till and then you are a member of the Rotary as well as you are living in India. That's how I work. I'm still working, I am still in charge of this whole area up to Palghar here Karjat and Kasara. All activities respective to polio eradication through Rotary Club. All the Rotary clubs, about 130 clubs are there. They do this work and I am supervising them. Whatever help is needed, I give them through Rotary clubs. So, this is a successful journey of polio free India. We began from 1988 and still we are continuing, but as far as India is concerned, by 2012 we have eradicated polio. First of all, let me tell you, polio is a viral disease. There are three types of polio viruses: P1, P2 and P3. P1 is the most viral, in the sense if 100 people are affected, 99 are going to get the infection and a crippled disease. 2 is very light, in the sense 1 in lakh people get crippled. 3 again about 3000 cases or so they will develop polio. But dangerous is polio 1, which is still prevalent in our areas, and that is why we have to be very vigilant. It spreads to the human mouth to mouth. Whatever contaminated water or food we drink, or sometimes through saliva. Those who are infected, they can pass on through saliva to a child when you are kissing or something like that. And it will usually affect to 5 years children and below that, but it can affect to even adults. It happened 3 years back in China. 90-year-old man got polio. 90-year-old. That was proved. It is age-old disease, is known from 17th century. 5 to 10% will get the symptoms. The symptoms means just like a common cold: coryza, cough, body ache, headache and severe ache. And 90 to 95% they don't have any symptom, but still they harbor the polio virus and they go on passing in their excreta regularly the polio virus. And they are most dangerous because they don't have any symptoms. They are the carriers. So that is the important source of infection which goes on spreading. Out of that 5 to 10%, only 1% actually gets paralysis. Either it affects one limb or the two lower limbs, or the one hand or the two hand, or the whole body. And if it affects the meninges, it's likely that the person can die, but very few cases it can happen. There is a bulbar polio paralysis. In that, what happens, the diaphragm through which we inhale, that gets paralyzed. If that becomes so, the child becomes very serious and they require a ventilator, which are very rare cases now. Last 10 years we hardly had any bulbar polio. It affects the motor neuron, not the sensory part. That is why the sensation remains, only muscle gets weakened. Why it happens? Good nutrition. If there is no lacking nutrition, if he is anemic, the person is bound to get it. Personal and public hygiene is also very important. If you are living in a dirty surroundings, You may be having clean surroundings in your house, but the surroundings, your nala, as you are surrounded with kachra, or the hutments are there, your child is prone for that. Now, immunity against polio disease, one can have it, but you have to have a polio vaccination. Polio vaccination is basically done to create herd immunity. Herd immunity in the sense, when you are giving polio drop, next 5-6 days, whatever virus is passed is a vaccinated virus. It can contaminate the food, it can contaminate water, but the child cannot, or the other fellow cannot get the infection. The best way, there are two types of vaccines. Oral and injectable. Oral is easy to give in these kind of programs, because anybody, if I train her, she can give it. Only thing is I have to train the saying that she has to maintain the temperature. 8 and 10 degrees is a temperature required. It has its own vaccine indicator over the while.
Doctor, they do this in unhygienic type, like on the railway platform.
We do it on the road. I will show you.
Is it safe?
Yeah, it's a safe. It's a safe. Because that's where you can catch the patients.
People,
On the road. We stand on the road and do it. I'll show you. Railway platform,
most of the
airport,
you see on the railway platform.
wherever people are entering, we have to sit there on special NIDs. NIDs is the day which has been carried out all throughout India. The purpose is, at same day you are giving a polio vaccine to all children below 5 years across India. So it creates a herd immunity, means whatever is virus is passed, it's a vaccinated virus. Even if it goes into somebody's body, he develops or she develops the immunity. Czechoslovakia was the first country which they get a polio eradicated. Long time, about 15 years back, 15 or 25 years back. They did vaccination to each and every child, IPV, that is injectable polio virus, which was first to come in the market. That was around 1955. And their health department gave it to every children. And they were the first to get the polio eradicated in their community and the country. Then subsequently Europe, then USA, then Japan and China, so many countries, those started doing the immunization regularly, they get polio free. What was the situation in India? All over the world, 1988, the African countries, Asian countries, there were about 350,000 cases every year. That is the year we thought, the Rotary thought, why not, this is a crippling disease and preventable disease, why not we try and do something for that. So they assembled at WHO along with the UNICEF, CDC, that is American organization, Center for the Disease Control, and so many other governments, they participate and they decided the Rotary will put in some money for purchasing the oral polio vaccine and give it to the countries who cannot afford to have it and start doing immunization. And slowly, subsequently, we start involve the governments of that particular country. That is how we started. But it took 1995, the government of India to accept that particular NID program. That was Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. He accepted it. And we started doing it first in Delhi. That was in 1994. We thought it is possible because we had Rotary volunteers. We had about 1,24,764 Rotary volunteers, and 21,398 inner wheel members. That was easy to do. Plus we involved the school children. I told you that purpose of NID is to create herd immunity, which means that when you give vaccine to particular community, it passes immunity to whole herd. There are two types of NID we do. NID is a National Immunization Day which carried all throughout country, and sub-NIDs. Sub-NIDs are the NIDs where only disease is still prevalent. Like suppose Uttar Pradesh, there are certain western part of the UP where the Muslim population is much more. They refuse to take the polio vaccine. There the things are much worse. So we try to do extra immunization, though it is called sub-NIDs. It is done in Mumbai also, especially in slum areas. Dharavi, my part, Govandi, then there are Shivaji Nagar, there are Banganwadi, there are lots of slums there. So there we continue to have sub-NIDs till and that the polio vaccine, polio virus or disease virus is removed. But since 2012, we don't have polio disease, but the vaccine, the disease is, germs are available still in the sewage. So we thought we'll continue to have it, and there is to and fro of travelers. So it's better to control it. But slowly we are going to develop, start in injectable polio virus, polio vaccine. What happens with the injectable polio vaccine? It gives immunity to individual. It doesn't give herd immunity. But now our responsibility is that each and every child which is born now, he should be immunized, and he should get immediately as early as possible. So that is why we slowly Government of India and Rotary is trying to procure injectable polio vaccine, making it available at a cheaper rate. Right now the vaccine is available 700 rupees per vial, per injection. Still costly. It was first, when it came it was 1200, now it is 700. If the Government of India start manufacturing it, maybe it can come down to 100 rupees. Because injectable requires little more sophistication.
Comparatively, the oral vaccine is cheaper.
Oh yes, cheaper in the sense each vial which contains about 25 rupees and 25 doses. So nearly 1 rupee a dose.
It is much cheaper.
Pardon?
It is much cheaper.
Yeah, of course. Only you require a manpower. You have to give them payment. That is the only thing. Now, to start with, we had a very difficult situation, in the sense people were not ready to accept it. ये क्या चल रहा है? Why polio again and again and people were not understanding. So we started holding rallies. So we used to take the school children, go around the streets, usually in the slums, with the placards, with loudspeakers, telling that polio vaccine is important, audio visuals, telling them street plays. I can show you. This is how the street play used to, not this one. See, the children are performing street plays here. This is in one of the slum in Chembur, Ramabai Nagar. And we took the last polio victim of this area, Nuzli, in that area, and showed everyone. She is a lady, girl here. She is 9 years old. I told you, she was having only 8 grams of hemoglobin. And nutritionally she was very poor. So that is, in spite of having 10 to 15 doses, she had a polio. See what happens, for motivation we have to do lot of hard work, because people are illiterate in the slums. You cannot tell them once and they will understand it. You have to show actual pictures, they will understand that. Till 2012, 2010, we had so much resistance from the Muslim community. I'll show you further down there. So when we used to go for a polio vaccination door to door, they would hide their children below the cot. नहीं हमारे पास कोई बच्चा नहीं है.
Means they don't have knowledge means.
No, what happens when every Friday prayer, the Maulana used to give a bad propaganda. ये पोलियो का ड्रॉप देने से आदमी को नापुसक बनाया जाता है. ये यूएसए का, अमेरिका का चाल है. ये अमेरिका से पोलियो आता है. That is how people used to tell us. So that is why what we thought in 2010, it happened in Malegaon, where our in charge of the polio immunization at the district national level, Delhi, Ashok Mahajan, he called the meeting of Maulanas in the area and explained to them what are the ill effects of not taking oral polio, and tell them, see, your community is going to develop the disabled people. What are you going to do? You have to feed them, and to avoid polio, you have to give polio dose. It is not the sterility thing. They realized it, and from 2010 onwards, we started getting good response, 100% vaccination. That is why we could achieve by 2012 the polio eradication. Otherwise, it was not possible.
Pakistan is facing the same risk.
There the people are being killed. The vaccinators, they go there, they are being killed. It happened last year. Afghanistan, same thing.
Even Iraq.
Iraq is a different story. Iraq is a war country. It's a war. What happens? There are opposite camps, no? If somebody is favoring it, the opposite camp says no, it is not good. Shia and Sunni. The war is between Shias and Sunni there. Before the dictator was Sunni. Now the government is a Shia government. So those who were in power earlier, they feel they have been rejected because Shias are ruling now. So whatever government does, they oppose. That is why they are going to form the separate country for them, That's a different story. So this is how we used to do. We collect the children and go to each cooperative society in the area and do it. Prior to that, when we started our immunization program, that was between 91 and 96, it used to call the program Polio Plus. We thought that whatever vaccine preventable diseases are there, we will try to cover all 5 diseases: tuberculosis, polio, diphtheria, tetanus and measles. These routine immunization what the children get, these are the 5 main, the government does it. So we thought along with polio we will remove all 5 diseases. So we started assisting them, and it was known as 91-96 upward Polio Plus program. And we used to go held the program, the coordinator meet. This is in ward office, ward officer and all he is the earlier, like I am polio chair now, Jayant Raje, he was a pilot of Air India. He used to go all around Mumbai propagating this program. He is no more now. He is another fellow, Dr. Bhargava, Krishnakant Bhargava. He is an ENT surgeon from Santa Cruz. He is an advisor now. He used to go around and propagate that. And myself also, that time I was just a worker here addressing the gathering. This I told you. When we start our program, we start in month of June. The Rotary year begins in July. So, end of June, we meet at the National Polio Committee. It is known as National Polio Plus Committee, India National Polio Plus Committee. We meet in Delhi along with the Government of India Health Workers, Health Minister, the Secretary of the Health, then the secretary of the states, if possible chief minister, they come together. One day, full day program is there, where whole program is chalked out. Each month what NID is to be there. We have to consider the festival also. If there is a Ganpati festival and if you keep NID, nobody will come. So you have to Bakra Eid, these festivals we have to avoid and bring it, and preferably Sunday. So it is usually carried out every Sunday, and there everything is taken into consideration, and this kind of booklet is published. How it's an operation manual, how to operate the polio activities throughout the Rotary. So that is how it is circulated all over India through Rotary, given to the leaders of the Rotary how to perform the day-to-day activities during NID and after NID. Following that, when they come back to each district, Rotary has different districts. So when they come back to the district, in the month of July, either mid-week of July, we have a district meet where these kind of booklets are given to each and every one who is working in Polio Plus activities, to conduct, how to conduct seminar, how to conduct NID, everything is been given. So if you need any help from the municipal people, there are addresses given so that you can call whenever they want, you want to have it. Any difficulty? I told you about NID, I told you about sub-NID. The third part is mop-up round. This mop-up round, mop-up, whenever any polio case is detected in the area, the call goes to health officer of the municipal corporation. If it is in M East Ward, the MOH of the East Ward is given a call. He arranges a vaccination program to about 5 kilometers area surrounding that polio victim, so that whatever disease virus is being given out in the and polluting the water through this particular affected person or a child, that can be contained or stopped by giving extra immunization. That is called mop-up round. You are trying to mop up the wild virus which is available right now there by vaccinated virus. That goes on for 1 week, till and then all children below 5 years are covered around 5 kilometers area. The fourth part of the NID, this particular program, is AFP surveillance. AFP means acute flaccid paralysis, that is the paralysis of the limb, that it becomes floppy. So it is known as AFP surveillance. The surveillance is done for the everyone. If you are walking in the state, if you are living in your area and find out any person below 15 years of age limping, we try and give a feedback to the MOH of area, saying that this and this person lives here and he is limping. So what is done? Immediately a stool sample within 24 hours is collected of that particular person and send it to the virology department or the lab, and they try to find out within 1 week if that particular sample contains polio virus, wild one, then again the mop-up round is been done. If it is not, then mop-up round is not been done. So just to find out whether it is a polio case or non-polio case. This particular, and it is very important, unless and until you do a survey and keep a watch, the disease will go on spreading.
Up to the age of 15.
Yeah, the mop-up round, the surveillance is done up to 15 years, because it can affect commonly up to 15 years of age. Very common at the age of 5, no doubt, up to 5 years, but it can affect up to 15 years school children. It can affect to even old people, like I told you, Chinese man had a 90 years old man, he had a polio. That is possible.
Is it means after 15 or something because of our immunity?
Yes, as we grow, we develop immunity and you become immune to it. During my childhood, I didn't had any oral polio vaccine. I think most of you must have had, didn't have. Now, if you go to the polio affected countries, the government within it is compulsory 3 weeks prior to going to that particular country, you have to take a oral polio vaccine. Now, the number of NIDs and sub-NIDs, each year from 2000 decided by WHO that 2 NIDs and sub-NIDs 6. 2009 and 2009 we had 1 NID and 10 sub-NIDs, because that particular area we had lot of slum pockets with polio viruses. So during that time we had more sub-NIDs just to cover up. Then 2011 onwards 2 NIDs and 3 to 4 sub-NIDs. That is how we used to do it. This is how during the NIDs we do. We stand on one, this is done at Chembur, this 21st we have done in this. We were standing in front of the OLPS church in Chembur on the main road from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Every child passing by, auto rickshaw, car, we used to stop them and give oral polio vaccine, just to cover up all children. These are all Rotarians.
What is the third one, this picture, second one? Here to second, that picture?
We are trying to, it's a one umbrella is there which gives advertisement that this is a booth where the polio vaccine is being carried out. He is our president at present, Bala. During when we start at 9 o'clock, about half an hour early, we assemble ourselves, create our polio booth so that people can stand there and take oral polio vaccine. This is what I told you, resistance cases. This happened in Malegaon in 2010. He is district governor, past district governor Ashok Mahajan. He did lot of work. He went around all throughout the country just to convince Muslim population. Very hard work.
Mullahs are very expert in brainwashing.
They have been taught like that, तो पक्का मुस्लिम बनाना है तो that do.
That misconception is very
That is how they work. So you can't blame them. So that is how for 2 years he went around and convinced people, and they started accepting it. Now during the Ramzan, during their prayer time, if it is a NID or next day is NID, they announce, you must take it. That is how we feel so proud, that we could convince them. And the acceptance is good now. Now these are the last polio cases which we had in our India. 1909-24-10, that was Aligarh UP. That was polio, wild polio virus 2. That was the last case of polio virus 2. After that, there is no polio virus 2 available in the community or present in the water or the food chain. Then came the polio virus 3, wild polio virus 3, that was in Pakur, Jharkhand. That was the last case of polio virus 3, wild polio virus 3, 22-10-2010. That was the last case. And wild polio virus 1, which is very notorious, which was the last case in 13 January 2011. So up to next January 2000, there was no case. So we were declared by the WHO endemically India was free. But 2014, WHO gave us certificate that we are polio free country. The struggle of polio, making polio free India was over that time. Thanks to the municipal corporation, thanks to the government and all people who accepted us, that we are, whatever we are doing is good for the humanity. 2014 South Asia, Asian region, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Timor, Maldives, DPR, Korea and India received WHO certificate that I told you. Yeah. See what happens, these are the neighboring countries. So unless and until everybody is free from polio, you cannot give certificate. So it is known as Southeast Asia region. Okay. From 30th January 2014, oral polio 6 weeks prior to travel to that affected countries, or a person who is coming to India from that country, he has to take a certificate that he has taken a oral polio, and certificate should be provided when he is traveling. If he doesn't have certificate, he can't get the entry in India, or the Indians who go there, they will also not get. For Hajj now it is compulsory.
Okay, Hajj has been compulsory.
Yeah.
That is Saudi Arabia.
Saudi people have done for last 5 years. Ask for
Anybody coming to Hajj from all countries, they have made that.
Yeah.
That is good. Because it is much crowded there.
especially those who are coming from the Asian,
Yeah.
Asian, African countries where the polio is still prevalent. Now this is hard on polio free certification. Unless and until we are vigilant, 4 pillars: routine immunization, AFP surveillance, then community hygiene and immunization to the all children. Unless and until we do that, we cannot say that we are polio free. So we have to be very vigilant. We are proud to achieve our target of polio free India, crossing all hurdles, a long journey from 1988 to 2014. Well done, India. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye polio.